So blockchain isn't as complex as we think. In the last video, I explained the blockchain using this notebook. Now in today's video, I'll be explaining some components of the blockchain using this notebook and this chain. You're not going to find a simpler illustration out there or a simpler analogy out there. So you want to stick around to the end of this video. If you stick around to the end of the video, I will let you know how you can join the BACK community. The BACK has been our sponsors for all the videos I've been creating. Now, to follow the Crypto Foundation series from the very first video to this point, so you can understand properly what will be illustrated today, just simply navigate to my channel page. Then you will see Crypto Foundation, a playlist. Just go through the playlist and everything is arranged, so you begin from top down in the correct order. If you follow through, you're definitely going to understand what Web3 is and what Web3 is about, and also what the blockchain is. And of course, in coming episodes, you're also going to be finding out how to stay positioned to benefit from the several opportunities. So in today's video, I'll be explaining certain components of the blockchain using our notebook again and this chain. So today I brought a chain to make things easier so that everyone can understand and make it as simple as possible. So the first thing I want to explain today is the block. One major component of the blockchain is the block. What is the block? The block is simply the basic unit of storage. If you watch the previous video, you see how I illustrated what the blockchain is using this notebook. So the basic unit of storage for a notebook is a page. That's the basic unit of storage where you write information which you want to be stored in the notebook. So the basic unit of storage for a blockchain is the block. So the block is simply like the page in this notebook. Now, what does the block contain? The block in the blockchain typically contains a list of transactions, timestamp, and a unique digital fingerprint. On the timestamp, of course, you know that the data stored on the block, on each block, is stored in a chronological order, making the timestamp very important. Then, as for the unique digital fingerprint I talked about, it just simply makes each transaction unique, like your fingerprint. So the hash is the unique digital fingerprint of each transaction, and no two transactions, of course, can have the same fingerprint, just like no two humans can have the same fingerprints, as far as I know it anyway. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and then watch the video to the very end to find out how you can join the BACK. The BACK is a Web3 community that is targeted at getting newbies skilled, so you can move from being just a newbie to becoming a skilled professional with the BACK, and everything is done for free. Everything is done without you needing to bear the cost. So as a member of the community, you get access to resources for free. The BACK ensures that you move from being just a newbie to becoming a skilled Web3 professional and someone with hands-on experience. So the next thing I want to talk about is the chain. So if the pages are the block, then the chain is simply the binding, what holds the blocks together in a specific order. Of course, you know that the pages of this book are held together in a specific order: first page, next page, second page, third page, and then you continue to the very end. So the chain is simply what holds the block together in a specific order. That's like the binding, like this cover, the glue that keeps the block together is the chain. Now I'll use this chain now to illustrate, and I have a chain here. Now you see how I explained that why it's called a blockchain is just simply because each block is linked to the previous block. Like you can find on the chain, this block linked to the previous block, and then it continues forming a chain of blocks, right? So what happens is, if you alter anything on a particular block, that's like trying to tear out a page from the notebook, the glue falls apart as the chain. So if you try to alter anything on the block, what holds it together falls apart. It falls apart, breaking the chain. So you cannot actually change the past without affecting the present. So imagine if I maybe break this block here now on this chain. If I break this block, this particular block if it's broken, every other block that is linked to it gets disconnected from the chain. So if anything happens to this block, what happens is that it breaks off. And once it breaks off, every other block after it is also affected. Like I said, that means you cannot change the past without affecting the present. makes it, something really solid when it comes to the security on the blockchain. So another thing I want to talk about are the nodes. And the blockchain runs on a global network of computers known as nodes. These nodes keep the whole records. So remember we said in a centralized system, a bank can have this record, or Facebook can have the record of their data because it's a decentralized system. They have that and they have the right to keep it. And whatever they release as that data that they have is what the public gets to accept. So we don't, there's really no way to actually verify and then know for sure, because it's of course a centralized system. So, but in a decentralized system, we have several people keeping these records. These several people, in the actual sense, in the actual technological sense, are the nodes. So the nodes are just simply a global network of computers that keep these records, the whole records. So of course, because it's a decentralized system, different people get to keep the records. In the actual sense, different computers, which we refer to as the nodes, they do not only keep records, they also verify each block. So you see different computers verifying each block and also keeping the record. This keeps the system fairly transparent, which is a very important characteristic of the blockchain. I've talked about the node, I've talked about the block, and I've talked about the chain. Another thing I would like to talk about is the network. So as we know from previous videos, the blockchain operates as a distributed ledger. Unlike in a bank setting where the bank alone has the record, in a decentralized setting, every participant of the network has the record. So these nodes are interconnected and they form the network. Summarily, the blockchain is a distributed ledger that runs on a global network of computers. I will be talking about a couple of other components of the blockchain, I think about 3 or thereabouts. For the sake of brevity, I will stop at this point. Just take your time to go over the videos. So you can watch the previous videos by going to my channel page and looking for the playlist Web3 Foundation. So in Web3 Foundation, you'll see the videos arranged in order, so you can follow through from the first video. What we are aiming at is to have like a full course on Web3 and of course the blockchain technology. We'll see you in the next video. I remain Web3 Chris.